Hello there, BookTube. I'm back. Hopefully I can start making some regular vids. Been through a lot this year. Haven't really had much time. Had visitors. Had all kinds of weird stuff going on. And cheers. There was a building about to collapse about 20 miles from here. Believe it or not, I had to go save the day. You can believe it or not, but that's literally what happened. So let's get past my heroics and get into my November wrap-up, December TBR. One of the first books I read was Star Trek, City on the Edge of Forever, the original teleplay written by Harlan Ellison. As you know, he's one of my favorite authors. Now, let me show you some of this. It really takes you back to the episodes if you're a Trekkie. Oh, if you hear anything in there, my wife's playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So, yeah, check that out. Probably seen my rating. I gave this 4.5 stars. It starts out, there's a dude on the Enterprise and he's basically selling drugs. Before he can be taken into custody, he runs to the transport room. He beams himself down to this planet. Kirk, Spock, and a few choice others, they go down after him. Wow, excuse me. They run into the Guardians of Forever on this planet. And Beckwith, the bad guy, escapes through a portal, so Jim and Spock follow. They wind up in 1930s America. They take up jobs while they're tracking him, and it's, I mean, it's pretty good. It's Star Trek, so what can I say? 4.5 stars on this one. Go for it. Then I read The End of Eternity. I did this as a buddy read with the Enchanting Jena over at Bibliofilth. And we had some issues with this where, well, I mean, it was written in the 50s, which is odd because, you know, it's a book about time travel, but, you know, it's a product of its time, much like, you know, a lot of the books written, you know, several years ago, before PC and all that. So basically the rundown is Harlan in Eternal falls in love with Noyes Lambert. She's a timed individual, and it's really about you know, free will and about letting things occur naturally. And like I said, I don't do a lot of spoilers. I took the cover off this because this book I have is actually a 55 publication, and I didn't want to rip it, so but let me see what I gave this. Gave this one 4.5 too. I like Isaac Asimov, but thanks Jena for the buddy read. Wasn't bad. Okay, onward. Next I read Robert Michael's The Demon in the Trees by our own Ben Sanders, who is a booktuber. There's the smartly dressed gentleman. And there are some similarities between this book and mine, The Vulnerable Gods. This takes place in a small town. There's a community college involved. There are a series of murders. They're trying to figure out you know, obviously who's guilty, and it turns out to be a supernatural being, which isn't quite what my book is about, but Dane reviewed mine and Ben's done a lot better than mine, which I can understand because his is much better as far as the formatting, and there's some character switching. I didn't have a problem with that. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good book. You know, well done, Ben. I gave this 4 stars. And then I tackled the Dark Tower comics, wherein Roland Duchesne and his quartet of companions are on the run. And you know, it's funny that Roland winds up in this place called Midworld, which is, you know, everyone knows Midworld's one of my favorite books. I think the place, it's, hang on. Anyway, let me show you some of the cool stuff in here. See, back in my day, comics weren't this edgy. They didn't have the sharp lines and the dark atmosphere, and you didn't see much, you know, anything like that really. There's one I really like in here, if I could find it. Where Shimi, he basically goes to what looks to me like an old concentration camp and develops some powers. Okay, it's in the 3rd one. But anyway, now, I really hadn't read any comics for years, but like I said, my oldest son bought these for me at a horror convention, and kind of liked them. You know, stuff like that right there, you didn't see that in comics when I was a kid. Check out that crow carrying him. Hang on, I'll find it. Oh yeah, I like this. They tried crossing a rope bridge with their horses. I'm going to find the scene. Okay, here it is. What does that look like to you? Pretty good reading. 4 stars on all of those. Now, this is what I'm going to try to read for December. Fortune Box by Madeleine Swann. It's be for Todd and Dane's indie read along. Was going to do a separate video. I just didn't have time. But, looking forward to this. It's a collection of short stories. And then if you haven't read Piers Anthony, you know, I never read the Xanth series, but I like the Odyssey series. And this is Isle of Woman. Then Ed McBain, Goldilocks. I'm sure Paperback Junky has read probably all of these, but he asked me about this one time. I said, well, I haven't tackled it yet, but I had it in my library here, so. And I'm going to try Robert Cormier, The Rag and Bone Shop. My youngest boy, Ray, he really liked this book, so I'm assuming it's YA, so I'm going to give it a shot. Then there's The Recruit, Robert Muchamore, and I won this in Zalata's, one of her giveaways, and I put it back, and I figured I'd go ahead and read it this month. So I like the back of it. It says not suitable for younger readers. And then here's an old one that I have not touched since probably 1980. And it's a planet called Treason by Orson Scott Card. And I know the guy's a radical regenerative. Basically, if they're let go, they keep growing limbs and even extra heads and hearts and stuff like that. So, and from what I remember, he finds his way through this strange land. And I think it might be a prison planet, and he learns all these different things from various people that he runs into. So that's it. You know, hopefully I'll get back on track and be able to show up a little bit more as a regular on BookTube. So if you stuck around this long, thank you. Cheers, everyone. And I'll see you later. Bye.